It was past midnight. The city lights twinkled far below, but Mark, a man worn by hard work, barely noticed. His blue janitor uniform was faded, a testament to countless hours spent cleaning. He pushed his heavy cart, the wheels squeaking softly on the polished floors. Every sweep, every wipe, was for his daughter, Lily. She was 7 years old, his entire world. Mark worked 2 jobs. He cleaned offices by night. He did odd jobs by day. Sleep was a luxury he rarely enjoyed. But Lily's laughter made it all worth it. He pictured her sleeping soundly in their small apartment. She had drawn him a messy picture of a superhero today. He kept it in his pocket, a warm spot against his chest. Tonight, his feet throbbed. Lily had caught a cold. He'd spent the morning comforting her. Now, he faced endless hallways and silent, empty offices. He reached the top floor, the executive level. This floor was always the most important. It belonged to the CEO, Lily Collin. Lily Collin was a legend. She ran this huge company. She was known for being very smart and very tough. Mark usually never saw her. She was a distant, powerful figure. He always made sure her office was spotless. He took pride in his work, no matter how small. He finished cleaning the main meeting room. He moved to Lily Collin's personal office. It was a grand space, filled with dark wood and expensive art. As he vacuumed the thick carpet, a soft ding echoed from the elevator. Mark froze. His heart jumped. No one ever came up here this late. The elevator doors opened. A tall, elegant woman stepped out. She wore a sharp business suit. Her hair was pulled back tight. Her eyes were keen, sharp. It was Lily Collin. Mark felt a sudden flush of heat in his face. He was just the janitor. He tried to blend into the shadows. Lily Collin walked slowly towards her office. She looked straight at him. Mark felt caught. He quickly went back to wiping a window that was already clean. "Davies, isn't it?" "Yes, ma'am. I often see you working late. You're always the last one here." "Just doing my job, ma'am." "Davies, I need to talk to you about something important." "Is there a problem, ma'am? Did I miss something?" "No, nothing like that. In fact, quite the opposite. I've been watching you for some time." "Davies, watching me?" "Ma'am?" "Yes. Your hard work, your care. You always get the job done. And you do it well. You never complain." "Thank you, ma'am. I just try my best." "I know you do. That is why I'm going to make you an offer. An offer that will change your life." "An offer?" "I'm offering you $1 million, Davies." $1 million? "Ma'am, I don't understand." "You heard me right. $1 million. In exchange for something very specific. Take it, Davies. This money could end all your worries." Mark stared at the envelope. His hand did not move. $1 million for him? It was too much. Too strange. He thought of Lily, her future, a life free from money troubles. But Lily Collin's words, in exchange for something very specific, echoed in his mind. There was a secret here, a hidden cost. Mark had to know what it was. "Ma'am, I need to know. What do you want in return for this money?" Mark, the humble janitor, stood before a choice that could change everything. $1 million, waiting. But what was the true price? And what was the powerful CEO really asking for? Lily Collin stared at Mark. Her silence stretched, making the tension thick. Mark felt his pulse quicken. He stood firm, waiting. He wouldn't just take the money without knowing the cost. "The exchange, Davies, is simple. I want you to tell me everything you've seen, everything you've heard, in this building, every late-night meeting, every hushed conversation, every document left open, no matter how small, no matter how unimportant it might seem." "Ma'am, I don't pay attention to those things. My job is to clean. I don't listen in on conversations. I don't read documents." "Are you telling me you never see anything out of the ordinary? That you never notice anything suspicious?" In all the months you've been here, working in every office, on every floor? Mark thought about it. He often cleaned offices after everyone left. Sometimes, papers were indeed left out. Sometimes, he heard hushed voices from meeting rooms as he passed by. But he always ignored them. It wasn't his business. He just wanted to do his work and go home to Lily. I just see what's on the surface, ma'am. Trash. Dust. Spills. That's what I clean. Davies, this company is facing a grave threat. A hidden danger from within. Someone is trying to steal our most valuable project. It's a project that could change the world, and it could make or break this company. My company. A threat? But how does that involve me, ma'am? Because you, Davies, are the invisible man. You are everywhere. You see things no one else sees. You hear things no one else hears. You are present when everyone else is gone. You are the perfect spy, Davies. An unwitting one, perhaps, but a spy nonetheless. Ma'am, I am just a janitor. I don't know anything about being a spy. I wouldn't even know what to look for. Precisely. Which is why you have no loyalty to any of the players involved. No reason to lie. You are an unbiased observer. Your observations, no matter how small, could be the key. Someone is passing information to a rival company. We need to find out who and how. $1 million, Davies. For your memory, for your observations, for a few simple words about what you recall. It's enough to ensure your daughter's future. To give her everything you've ever wanted for her. A home, an education, a life free from hardship. The mention of Lily hit Mark hard. His daughter, her future, the endless worry that gnawed at him daily. $1 million would truly change everything. No more aching feet. No more missing bedtime stories. No more fear of not being able to provide. But could he really be a spy? Could he betray the trust he didn't even, he had been given? Could he start looking for secrets, for hidden dangers, in the place he simply cleaned? It felt wrong. It felt dangerous. What if he got caught? What if he made a mistake? Mark looked at Lily Collin, then at the envelope. His mind was torn. His responsibility to Lily screamed at him to take the money. But his own sense of honesty, of not wanting to pry into others' lives, held him back. It was a moral line he had never considered crossing. Davies, this isn't about being disloyal. It's about protecting what is right. This company provides thousands of jobs. It helps countless people with its innovations. If it falls, many will suffer, including people like you. People who work hard for their families. Think of Lily, Davies. This isn't just about money. It's about securing her future, protecting a greater good. Mark's internal conflict raged. He was just a janitor. Now he was being asked to be a hero or a traitor. For $1 million. For Lily, he had to make a choice. And it felt like the most important choice of his life. Mark stood silently, the weight of Lily Collins' words pressing down on him. $1 million. Lily's future. The company's future. It was a dizzying thought. He had always tried to live simply, honestly. This was a whole new world. Ma'am, I've always just done my work. I never looked for trouble or secrets. I know, Davies. And that's precisely why I trust you. You have no reason to be involved. No hidden agenda. You are a clean slate. But this situation is critical. Our new microchip design, Project Nightingale, is at risk. It's an energy-saving chip. It will change the world, and it will secure our company for decades. Someone inside is feeding information to our biggest competitor, Sterling Tech. They want to steal Nightingale. If they succeed, we lose everything. Sterling Tech will crush us, and thousands of people will lose their jobs. My engineers, my factory workers, my janitors, everyone. Mark felt a cold dread. Thousands of jobs. He thought of his friends who also worked here. He thought of his own job. If the company went down, he would be out of work. And then what? How would he support Lily? But how would I even help, ma'am? What do you want me to do? You wouldn't be alone. I would guide you. I would tell you what to look for. Not to snoop, Davies, but to notice patterns. Small things that seem out of place. A person staying too late in the wrong department. A document left on a desk it shouldn't be on. A repeated conversation you might overhear. This is encrypted. It's secure. You would send me notes, pictures, anything you think is important. Only to me, no one else. And I would pay you the $1 million immediately. It would be wired to an account of your choice. A trust fund for Lily, perhaps. Mark looked at the tablet, then back at the envelope. $1 million. Right away. It was a tempting thought. He could pay off all his debts. He could buy a small house for him and Lily, give her the stability he always dreamed of. But the idea of actively looking for secrets, of becoming an informant, still felt wrong. It was a betrayal of his own quiet code. He had always believed in minding his own business. Ma'am, I appreciate the offer. Truly. For Lily's sake, it's a huge thing. But I don't know if I can do it. It doesn't feel right. I'm just a janitor. Not a detective. Davies, this isn't about what feels right in some abstract sense. This is about survival. For this company, for all the people who rely on it, and for your daughter, whose future you can secure right now. Think about the alternative. If Sterling Tech steals Nightingale, this company fails. And then what happens to Lily's future? Mark saw her point. It wasn't just about his comfort anymore. It was about a much larger picture. A company, jobs, and Lily's future. He was being asked to step up, even if it meant stepping outside his comfort zone. He was an underdog. He always had been. But now, he was being asked to fight a battle he didn't understand. He thought of Lily's small, trusting face. He thought of her drawing of him as a superhero. He had to be a hero for her, even if it meant doing something he never imagined. What if I get caught? Ma'am, what if I'm found out? You won't get caught. No one suspects the janitor. You are invisible, and you will only communicate with me. I will protect you. I give you my word. So, Davies, what do you say? Will you help us? Will you help Lily? The choice was laid bare. Mark looked at the tablet, then at the envelope. He pictured Lily's smile. He pictured her safe, secure. He closed his eyes for a moment. He had to do it. For her. Okay, ma'am, I'll do it. But I don't want the money up front. I want it when this is over. When we find out who the thief is. And only if we succeed. Lily Collin blinked. Her mouth opened slightly, a flicker of surprise crossing her face. Mark, the unassuming janitor, had just turned down $1 million. He had set his own terms. His decision wasn't for greed, but for something else entirely. Something Lily Collin had not expected. Lily Collin stared at Mark, her surprise clear. She had expected him to jump at the money, to demand it. But he had refused it. He had chosen to wait. This wasn't about him getting rich. It was about something deeper. You don't want the $1 million up front? No, ma'am. Not now. I want to earn it. By doing what's right. For the company. For Lily. If I take the money now, it feels like a bribe. If I earn it, it feels like I actually helped. A slow smile spread across Lily Collin's face. It was a genuine smile, full of respect. Davies, you are an unusual man. A truly honorable man. All right. Your terms are accepted. The money will be held in a secure account. It will be transferred the moment this threat is neutralized. So, our mission begins. You will continue your normal duties. But now, you will also observe. You will be my eyes and ears. No one, absolutely no one, must know about this. Not even your closest friends. Especially not your family. Understood. Ma'am, my lips are sealed. The breach, we believe, is happening on the 10th floor, in the R&D department, specifically The Nightingale Team section. Someone there is compromised. Or perhaps someone with access to that floor. Mark thought of the 10th floor. He cleaned it every Tuesday and Friday. A lot of engineers, busy with complex machines. He hadn't noticed anything special before. But now, he would. I need you to look for anything out of place. A person working late who usually leaves early. A strange visitor. A forgotten USB drive. Anything. And document it on this tablet. Send it only to me. Every detail matters. I will, ma'am. I'll do my best. Your best, Davies, is what we need. Remember, the future of this company rests on this. And your daughter's future, as well. Mark left Lily Collins' office that night with a new burden. The weight of the tablet, the secret mission, the knowledge of a hidden threat. He was no longer just a janitor. He was a silent guardian, an undercover observer. The next day, Mark's routine felt different. As he cleaned the offices, his eyes now saw everything. He noted which desks had papers left out. He paid attention to who was working late. He watched faces. He listened for whispers. Every detail suddenly seemed important. On the 10th floor, the R&D department, he found himself scrutinizing the Nightingale team. They were a group of brilliant, focused engineers. Dr. Anna Reed, the lead scientist, was often there. She was a driven woman, always working. Mark had noticed her before. She often stayed late. Her office was always a mess of papers. Mark decided to start with her area. It was the heart of Project Nightingale. He cleaned her office carefully. He noticed a small, unmarked USB drive tucked beneath a pile of technical drawings. It was unusual. Most drives were labeled, and this one was hidden. He took a picture of it with the tablet. He sent the image to Lily Collins. He didn't touch the drive. He just observed. He felt a thrill of nerves mixed with purpose. This was new. This was dangerous. Excellent, Davies. Do not touch the drive. Just observe if it moves, or if anyone else seems interested in it. Mark continued his work, the tablet a secret extension of his duties. He began to see the corporate world not as a place of simple messes, but as a complex web of interactions, secrets, and potential dangers. His janitor's uniform now felt like a disguise. He was Mark, the invisible man. The stakes were higher than ever. Days turned into weeks. Mark continued his cleaning routine, but his mind was sharp, always observing. He moved through the building like a ghost, his mop and bucket his cover. He took careful notes on his tablet, sending them only to Lily Collins. He watched Dr. Anna Reed. The USB drive remained hidden under her papers for a few days. Then, it was gone. Mark noted the exact time he saw it disappear, and when it reappeared, it was always after she had left her office for a coffee break or a meeting. Someone else was accessing it. He also started noticing a pattern with a senior engineer, Mr. Harrison. Harrison was known for being quiet, almost shy. He worked directly under Dr. Reed. Mark often saw Harrison in the R&D lab late, long after everyone else had left. He would usually be typing furiously or looking at complex diagrams. Nothing unusual, at first glance, but Mark started to notice small things. Harrison often stayed in the lab past 1 a.m. Too late, even for a dedicated engineer, and he always carried a specific, non-company issued, sleek silver thermos. He would sip from it constantly. This wasn't suspicious on its own, but Mark's new role made him question everything. One night, as Mark cleaned near the R&D lab, he heard hushed voices. Harrison and another man, unfamiliar, were talking inside. The door was slightly ajar. Mark quickly moved, his cart closer, pretending to scrub a stain on the floor. The data is ready. Project Nightingale details. It's all there. Good. Make sure it's untraceable. And remember our agreement, Harrison. Sterling Tech is very generous. Mark's blood ran cold. Sterling Tech. It was true. There was a mole. And it was Harrison. The quiet, shy engineer. Mark carefully took out his tablet. He pressed record. He didn't dare peek. He just listened. He could hear the distinct clink of the silver thermos being placed on a table. The last piece of the puzzle, Harrison. Then you're free. And rich? I know. Just get this done. I need this to be over. Mark stopped recording. He quickly sent the audio clip to Lily Collin. He felt a surge of adrenaline. He had found something big. Excellent work, Davies. Unfamiliar voice. Interesting. This confirms our suspicions about Sterling Tech. But we need more. We need to catch them red-handed. We need to know how the data is being transferred. Mark continued his observations. He focused on Harrison. He noticed Harrison always placed his silver thermos on a specific corner of his desk when he left for the day. And when he returned the next morning, the thermos was sometimes in a slightly different spot, or its cap was a bit looser. It was a tiny detail, but Mark's heightened awareness picked it up. He wondered about the thermos. Could it be more than just a drink container? Could it be the key to the data transfer? It seemed too simple, too obvious. Yet, spies often used simple objects as covers. Mark decided to take a risk. One night, after Harrison had left, Mark approached his desk. He hesitated. Touching an employee's personal item was a clear line he shouldn't cross. But the stakes were too high. Lily's future, the company's future. He quickly looked around. The floor was empty. He gently picked up the silver thermos. It felt heavier than it should for its size. He twisted the bottom. It unscrewed. Inside, hidden neatly, was a small, high-tech device. It had a tiny antenna and a slot for a micro-SD card. It was a data transmitter. Mark gasped softly. He snapped a picture of the device inside the thermos. He quickly screwed the bottom back on, placing the thermos exactly where it had been. His heart hammered in his chest. He felt like a real spy. He had found the mechanism. He sent the image to Lily Collin. This was it. The proof. The method of betrayal. Mark felt a mix of relief and fear. He had done it. He had truly found the something very specific. Mark sent the picture of the transmitting device. His fingers trembled slightly. He had never felt such a rush of adrenaline. He waited, his gaze fixed on his tablet, for Lily Collin's reply. It came almost instantly. Remarkable, Davies. Absolutely brilliant. A passive data burst transmitter. Ingenious and almost impossible to detect. You've uncovered the entire operation. A wave of relief washed over Mark. He had done it. He had helped. He had been a hero for Lily. Now, we need to act. We need to catch Harrison in the act, or the evidence won't hold up in court. He will deny everything. Mark felt a new surge of anxiety. Catch him in the act? How? What do we do, ma'am? Harrison has to transmit the final data package. Project Nightingale's complete schematics. The one you heard him talk about. We need to let him think he's succeeded. We will intercept the transmission. She explained her plan. Tomorrow night, Harrison plans to make his final data dump. He believes he's transmitting the full Nightingale blueprints. But we'll swap out the real data for decoy files. Dummy schematics. Then, we intercept his transmission. He'll be caught with stolen, worthless data, and his crime will be clear. Mark's mind raced. It was a risky plan. What if Harrison noticed the swap? What if he suspected something? This is where you come in again, Davies. We need to create a distraction. Something that will make Harrison anxious, make him rush. Something that I will draw his attention away from his desk long enough for my security team to swap the files on his work computer. Mark frowned. A distraction? What kind of distraction could a janitor create without looking suspicious? You often work near his desk on that floor. You have a reason to be there. Think about what a janitor would do that could cause a momentary fuss. Nothing too big, nothing that would draw too much attention to you specifically, but enough to make Harrison nervous and distracted. Mark thought hard. He remembered a time he accidentally knocked over a small stack of papers. The engineer had been annoyed, but it was quickly forgotten. What else? An idea sparked in his mind. The fire alarm. Not a real fire, but a false alarm. It would clear the floor. It would create panic. But then he would be in trouble. The fire alarm. A false alarm would clear the floor. But that would be a huge risk for me, ma'am. Absolutely not. Too risky. Too much damage. We need something smaller. Think personal. Think about Harrison himself. What does he value? Or what does he protect? Other than the data. Mark thought of Harrison again. Quiet. Almost obsessive about his work. His desk was always very neat, except for the pile of papers where the USB drive was. He was always careful with his things. Then it hit him. Harrison's thermos. The one with the transmitter. He guarded it carefully. What if something happened to that? Not stolen, not broken. Just something that would make him focus on it. His thermos, ma'am. He keeps it with him always. It's the transmitter. If something happened to it, he'd be very distracted. Brilliant. Davies. But how do you do something to it without being caught, or damaging it, or him suspecting you? Mark thought of the cafeteria. Harrison went there every night for a late coffee. He always left his thermos at his desk. He could spill something on it. Not on the inside, just the outside. A visible, messy stain. Coffee, perhaps. It would make him rush back to clean it. That would be his moment. I could spill a cup of coffee near his desk. Make it look like an accident. On his thermos. He'd rush to clean it. It's an important item to him. Perfect. A believable accident. It creates the perfect window. Tomorrow night, Davies. This is it. The final play. Mark felt a cold knot in his stomach. The stakes were incredibly high. He was about to play a direct role in catching a corporate spy. His life as a quiet janitor was long gone. Now, he was an active participant in a high-stakes corporate thriller. For Lily. And for the company. He had to be perfect. The next night, the air in the office felt charged. Mark went about his duties as usual, but his nerves hummed like a live wire. He kept an eye on Harrison. The engineer seemed more agitated than usual, pacing his office, checking his computer constantly. He was preparing for the final transmission. Mark watched as Harrison finally stood up, grabbing his regular coffee mug. He left his silver thermos carefully placed on his desk. As always, Harrison walked towards the elevators, heading to the cafeteria. This was Mark's chance. Mark quickly pushed his cleaning cart towards Harrison's office. His heart pounded. He had a cup of old, cold coffee in his hand, a prop for his accident. He looked around. The hallway was empty. His hands were a little shaky. He reached Harrison's desk. He carefully placed his mop bucket right next to the desk. Then, with a deep breath, he purposefully bumped the bucket. The cup of cold coffee flew from his hand. It splashed directly onto the silver thermos, coating it in a sticky, brown mess. Some of it dripped onto the desk. Oh no! Oh my goodness! Just then, Harrison emerged from the elevator, coffee in hand. He stopped dead in his tracks. His eyes widened when he saw Mark, bent over his desk, cleaning up a spill right where his thermos Saturday. What happened? What did you do? Oh, Mr. Harrison, I am so sorry. I just bumped my bucket. I'm so clumsy. I'll clean it right up for you. Harrison ignored Mark. He was entirely focused on the thermos. He unscrewed the bottom, quickly checking the transmitter device inside. He sighed in relief when he saw it was dry. Then he began wiping the outside of the thermos with his own handkerchief, his brow furrowed with worry. He didn't even notice the computer screen still showing the open Project Nightingale file. This was the window. As Harrison was busy cleaning his thermos, two figures silently slipped into the office. They were Lily Collins' private security team. They moved with train speed. One went directly to Harrison's computer. The other kept a watchful eye on the door. The security tech worked quickly. In less than 20 seconds, he copied the real Nightingale data, deleted it, and uploaded the decoy files. It was done so fast, Harrison wouldn't have even noticed if he had looked up. Mark continued to wipe the desk, providing a perfect screen for the security team. He glanced up, making eye contact with the security tech. The tech gave a tiny, almost invisible nod. The mission was complete. Harrison finally finished cleaning his thermos. He looked up, still annoyed. Davies, just be more careful next time. This is important. Yes, sir. I will. My deepest apologies. Mark gathered his cleaning supplies, his heart hammering. He had done it. Harrison, now calmer, sat back down at his desk. He glanced at his computer screen. The file was still there. He didn't notice the change. He typed a few commands. He activated the transmitter in his thermos. He began the final data dump, sending what he believed were the stolen Nightingale blueprints to Sterling Tech. Mark watched from a distance as he pushed his card away. He felt a profound sense of achievement. He had helped protect the company, and, by extension, Lily's future. He had faced his fears. He had crossed a line he never thought he would. And he had done it all for his daughter. Interception confirmed. Dummy files received by Sterling Tech. Harrison is caught. Outstanding work. Davies, return to my office. We need to talk. Mark felt a deep sense of relief. It was over. The game was won. And he, the invisible janitor, had played a crucial part. Mark walked into Lily Collins' office. The tension of the night began to melt away, replaced by a profound weariness. He felt mentally drained, but also strangely light. He had done it. Come in, Davies. Please, sit. Mark, used to always being on his feet, hesitated. Sitting in the CEO's chair felt strange. But Saturday, he looked at Lily Collins, waiting. We have Harrison. He tried to claim innocence, of course. But the dummy files, the transmitter in his thermos, the recorded conversation with the Sterling Tech operative, it was all ironclad. He confessed everything. Mark felt a pang of something akin to sadness. Harrison was just a man who made a bad choice. But his choices could have hurt so many. So, Project Nightingale is safe? Completely safe. And Sterling Tech has wasted countless resources trying to decipher our decoy data. They won't bother us for a long time. You, Davies, save this company. You save thousands of jobs. And you save Project Nightingale, which will truly help the world. Mark felt a warmth spread through him. He hadn't thought about the wider impact. He had just focused on Lily, but helping so many people, that felt good too. I'm glad I could help, ma'am. Lily Collins walked back to her desk. She picked up the thick envelope from that first night, the one with the promise of $1 million. She held it out to Mark. And now, for your reward. As promised. Mark looked at the envelope. It had been his goal, his motivation for pushing through the fear. But now that it was here, it felt different. The real reward had been the feeling of purpose, of courage. Thank you, ma'am. Lily Collins sat back in her chair. She looked at him with an unreadable expression. Davies, I was wrong about you. I thought you were just a diligent worker. A simple man I could pay to do a job. But you are more than that. You have integrity. You have courage. You have a keen eye and a sharp mind. You chose to do the right thing, even when it meant risking your own comfort and safety. And you put your family's future above immediate gain. Mark felt his cheeks flush. He had never received such praise. Especially not from someone so powerful. I did it for Lily, ma'am. I want a better life for her. And you will give it to her. The $1 million is just the start. Davies, I have another offer for you. Mark's eyebrows shot up. Another offer? He had already received the biggest reward he could imagine. This company needs people like you. People with your integrity and your unique perspective. We need eyes and ears that aren't tainted by corporate politics or ambition. We need someone who can see the small details that others miss. Someone who understands the undercurrents of this building. I want you to head a new department. Mark blinked. A new department? Head it? He was a janitor. Ma'am, I don't understand. A department? I'm not an executive. I don't have a degree. You are Davies. You just saved this company. You showed more intelligence and courage than half my executive team. I don't care about degrees. I care about results and character, and you have both in spades. She leaned forward, her eyes bright with a new vision. I want you to be my head of internal security and operational oversight. You would work directly under me. Your job would be to ensure the integrity of our company operations, to monitor for threats, internal or external, to establish protocols that prevent future breaches, to be the silent guardian of this company. Mark was speechless. The head of internal security? Him? It was an impossible leap. From mop buckets to corporate strategy. From scrubbing floors to safeguarding secrets. His mind reeled with sheer audacity of the offer. This wasn't just a life change. This was a complete transformation. Mark sat stunned, the envelope with $1 million heavy in his lap. Head of internal security. The words spun in his mind. It was an executive role, a world away from his current life. I know it's a lot to take in, Davies, but think about it. You just spent weeks navigating a complex corporate espionage case. You used your unique position to uncover the truth. You have an instinct for observation that cannot be taught in any business school. And you did it all with honor. Mark's mind flashed to Lily, her superhero drawing. He had wished he could be a hero for her. Now, he was being offered a chance to be one, not just for her, but for a whole company. He thought of his aching back, his tired feet. This new job would mean mental challenges, not physical ones. It would mean providing a life for Lily he never dared to dream of. Ma'am, I don't have the experience. I've only ever cleaned. Experience is overrated when you have raw talent and integrity. I'll provide you with a team, with training, with all the resources you need. You'll learn the corporate side, and you'll bring your unique insights. You will be invaluable. She stood and walked to the panoramic window again, gesturing to the vast city below. This company is my legacy, Davies. I need someone I can trust implicitly, someone who looks beyond the surface, someone who sees the truth, not just what they're told. That's you. Mark imagined himself in a suit, in a high-backed office chair, solving complex puzzles. He imagined a life where he could pick Lily up from school every day. A life where he didn't have to worry about the next bill. It was a terrifying, exhilarating thought. What about my current job, ma'am? The cleaning staff? We'll find an excellent replacement. Perhaps even promote someone from your current team. You understand the needs of the cleaning staff better than anyone. You can help us. Ensure they're treated well. It's all part of building a stronger, more secure company. The thought of helping his fellow janitors, ensuring they had good working conditions, resonated deeply with Mark. It wasn't just about his own climb. It was about making a difference from the inside. Mark looked down at his faded uniform, then at the elegant CEO. His old life was literally shedding away. This was a chance at a new beginning, not just for him, but for Lily. He couldn't say no. Not when it meant so much. He took a deep breath. Ma'am, I'll take the job. I'll do my absolute best. For you, for the company, and for Lily. I knew you would, Davies. Welcome aboard. Mark stood, feeling a strange mix of awe and unreality. He shook her hand. Her grip was firm, confident. It felt like shaking hands with destiny. Sunlight streamed into a spacious, modern office. It was Mark's office. He wore a crisp, tailored suit. His hair was neatly combed. He looked years younger, his eyes bright with intelligence and purpose. He sat at a sleek desk, reviewing reports on a large computer screen. This was a new kind of work for him, but he was learning fast. He had a small team now, reporting to him. He was a natural leader, listening to his team, valuing their input. On his desk, prominently displayed, was a framed drawing. It was Lily's superhero drawing. But now, she had added a small detail, a tiny, almost invisible mop and bucket next to the superhero figure. A reminder of where he came from. A reminder of his true strength. Lily was thriving. They lived in a comfortable, bright house. He picked her up from school every day. He helped her with homework. He read her bedtime stories. The $1 million, carefully invested, ensured her future. His new salary, substantial and steady, allowed them to live without fear. Excellent work on the new perimeter security protocols, Mark. Ahead of schedule. You continue to impress. Mark smiled. He was no longer just Davies. He was Mark, head of internal security. He had embraced his hidden potential. The invisible janitor had become the vigilant guardian. And it all began with a choice, a $1 million offer, and a CEO who saw more in him than he ever saw in himself. Mark looked at the message from Lily Collin. A sense of calm achievement settled over him. He pressed a button on his desk phone. Sarah, please schedule a meeting with the IT security team for tomorrow morning. I want to review the new firewall updates. Right away, Mr. Davies. Anything else? Yes. Please confirm Lily's school pickup for 3 p.m. today. I'll be leaving the office early. Confirmed, Mr. Davies. Enjoy your afternoon with Lily. Mark leaned back in his chair. This was his new life. A life of purpose, security, and presence. He had traded his mop for a strategic mind, his physical aches for intellectual challenges. He had found his place, a truly unexpected one. He thought back to that night, standing in Lily Collin's office. The fear, the confusion, the overwhelming offer. He had been so close to saying no, to walking away with his quiet life intact. But Lily's face, Lily Collin's belief in him, had pushed him forward. He realized now that the $1 million, while life-changing, wasn't the true reward. The real reward was the discovery of his own strength, his hidden talents. He had always been a man of integrity, but now he was also a man of influence. He could protect not just his daughter, but an entire company and the thousands of families that relied on it. He remembered Harrison's downfall. The quiet engineer had been driven by greed and a sense of being overlooked. Mark, too, had been overlooked, but he hadn't let it sour him. He had continued to do his best, and that had made all the difference. Mark now understood Lily Collin's genius. She didn't just see a janitor. She saw potential. She saw character. She looked past titles and degrees and found the true value in people. She had given him a chance, and he had taken it, not for immediate personal gain, but for something greater. He stood up and walked to his office window. The view was even better than Lily Collin's. His office was on a slightly lower floor, giving him a broader perspective of the city, of the world he was now helping to protect. He watched the tiny cars moving far below, people going about their lives, unaware of the quiet battles fought in glass towers. His phone buzzed. It was a text message. A picture of Lily, beaming, holding up a new drawing. A rainbow-colored house with a stick-figure family. Their new home. His heart swelled with love and gratitude. Mark had built a better life for Lily, not by magic, but by courage, by stepping out of his comfort zone, by daring to be more than he thought he was. He was a testament to the idea that true potential isn't found in a resume, but in the heart, in the choices we make when faced with impossible odds. He was the invisible man no longer. He was Mark Davies, a father, a leader, a guardian. He was proof that an underdog, given a chance and guided by integrity, can rise to unimaginable heights. His story was a quiet revolution, a reminder that heroism often wears an unexpected uniform. He picked up the framed superhero drawing. He traced the small mop and bucket Lily had added. A subtle tribute to his past, a grounding reminder of his journey. He smiled. He was ready for whatever challenge came next. Mark placed the framed drawing back on his desk. His phone chimed again. A message from Lily's teacher, confirming the early pickup. He felt a familiar flutter of joy. He looked at his watch. Time to prepare for his escape. Not from danger, but towards his daughter. He spent a few more minutes reviewing the new security reports. He flagged a minor anomaly in the access logs for the IT department, a detail most would overlook. He knew how important the small details were. His janitorial eye was now his greatest asset. He knew the hidden rhythms of the classes, building. He knew who came and went, who stayed late, and where the forgotten corners were. This instinct was something no high-priced consultant could replicate. Mark thought of his first days as head of internal security. He had felt out of place, unsure. He'd worn his new suit stiffly, conscious of every move. But Lily Collin had been a firm, patient mentor. She had taught him the language of the corporate world, the nuances of power dynamics, the importance of strategic thinking. She never let him forget his unique perspective. Your outsider's view is your strength, Mark, she would always say. He had learned to trust his gut feelings, the same instincts that had led him to suspect Harrison's thermos. He had built a team of smart, dedicated people who respected him, not for a fancy degree, but for his proven ability and integrity. He had even convinced Lily Collin to create a special internal program, hiring people from overlooked roles within the company, giving them a chance to develop their hidden talents. It was his way of paying it forward. He thought of the other janitors, the security guards, the cafeteria staff. He now saw them with new eyes, too. Not just as co-workers, but as potential sources of insight, as people with valuable, untapped observations. He had started a monthly groundskeeping insights meeting, where he gathered observations from staff who worked quietly in the background. It had already led to several minor security improvements. The memory of his previous life, the struggle, the constant worry, felt distant now. It was a part of him, a part that grounded him, reminded him of the preciousness of what he had. He carried no bitterness, only gratitude. Gratitude for Lily Collin, for Lily, and for the unexpected turn his life had taken. He stood up, smoothing down his suit jacket. He took one last look at his office, at the city view. This was his world now, a world he had earned, not just with a mop and bucket, but with courage, honesty, and a father's fierce love. He picked up his briefcase. His steps were light, purposeful. No more aching feet from pushing a heavy cart. Now, his mind felt light, yet sharper than ever. He wasn't just going to pick up his daughter. He was going home to the future he had built, brick by courageous brick. Mark exited his office, walking through the quiet hallways. He passed an area where a young, new janitor was pushing a cart, just like he used to. The young man looked tired, his uniform crisp but worn. Mark smiled faintly. He wondered if this young man had a hidden superhero inside him too. He made a mental note to introduce himself tomorrow. Perhaps, he thought, the story of the invisible man was just beginning for someone else. He stepped into the elevator, pressing the ground floor button. The doors closed, taking him down from the heights of corporate power, back to the world where his most important role, that of a father, awaited him. His journey was a testament to the idea that true value often lies unseen, waiting for the right person to notice it, waiting for the right moment to shine.